The chief is here. The crowd parted. Lu Zhengfeng looked up at little Yuan and frowned slightly. Chief, that's her. She is the one who wounded Officer Jiang. With hands clasped behind his back, Lu Zhengfeng said, She's an expert. No wonder. Little Yuaner's eyes fell on Lu Zhengfeng, and she asked, Are you the head of this Azure Dragon Association? Ugh, the head. Young lady, you should understand that there is always someone who is better than you. Don't think that you are invincible just because you are a Brahma Sea expert, said Lu Zhengfeng angrily. Since she was a child, little Yuana had seldom left Golden Court Mountain, so she did not know much about the way of dealing with others. She knew nothing about being humble or low-key, and all she knew was to quickly complete the task assigned by her master. What are you talking about? I'm asking you, are you the head of the gang? Little Yuaner furrowed her brow. I am the chief of the Azure Dragon Association's Anyang branch, Lu Zhengfeng. Are you in charge of everything? Of course I am. Good. I have a task for you. In the courtyard, everyone looked up warily at little Yuaner. Lu Zhengfeng was somewhat annoyed. He was trying to figure out what gave the little girl courage to offend the Azure Dragon Association, but in the end, he was just wasting his breath. That's enough. Take her down. He waved a hand, at which archers began to let loose arrows at little Yuaner. You are a naughty head. As she said that, she lightly stamped her foot. An energy ring rippled out from the bottom of her foot. In just the blink of an eye, the buildings beneath her collapsed and crumbled while waves of energy shot out in all directions. You have opened the 8 meridians of the Brahma Sea realm. Lu Zhengfeng's eyes grew wide. The Brahma Sea realm was divided into 8 meridians. A cultivator could only be considered to have officially stepped into the realm after opening Conception and Governor meridians, and reached the highest level after opening the other 6 meridians. When all 8 meridians were opened, the cultivator could use the energy in the meridians to attack. With all 8 meridians opened, the cultivator was invincible below the Divine Court realm. Of course, no matter how powerful the Azure Dragon Association's Anyang branch was, it would not be under Divine Court expert. Waves of energy pressed down with a mighty momentum, seeming swift and fierce. The surrounding buildings began to crack and showed signs of collapsing, while the gang members were thrown back by the force. Lu Zhengfeng, who was also a Brahma Sea expert, lifted both arms to block the terrible attack. But the waves were too strong, and he was being pushed back repeatedly until his back slammed onto a pillar and cracked it. She's so strong. Wait! Lu Zhengfeng swallowed back the blood that was about to rush out his mouth and stared with wide eyes at little Yuaner, who was slowly descending in front of him with both hands clasped behind her back, looking as if nothing had happened. What do you want to wait for? I didn't expect that you are a Brahma Sea expert with 8 meridians opened. Please pardon me for failing to see that and be merciful. We can talk. Little Yuaner hopped in front of him as she gazed him with her big eyes and said, I have a task for you. What is it, young miss? I want you to help me investigate the Lakeside Gang. The Lakeside Gang? Lu Zhengfeng looked puzzled. He had never heard a name before. They are behind the kidnapping of the CI family. You have 3 days to find them for me. When he heard it was about the CI family, Lu Zhengfeng's face grew serious, and he said, The Lakeside Gang had kidnapped the CI family. This is not something that Azure Dragon Association can be involved in. Say that again. Ugh, my lady, I will certainly find this Lakeside Gang in 3 days. Good. Little Yuaner turned around and took a few steps as she glanced at the gang members sprawling on the ground and said, Are you the one who shot me with arrows just now? No. Yes, it was you. Little Yuaner's figure flickered, leaving an afterimage on the spot. In the next instant, she was beside the man as she lifted one leg and stomped on the marble floor next to his face. A perfect footprint appeared on the smooth, hard surface of the marble. The man shrieked and pissed in his pants while trembling violently. He was clearly scared out of his wits. She was not a little girl, but a little devil. Ha! What a coward! Little Yuaner made a face. Then she turned to face Lu Zhengfeng as she smiled and said, Be obedient. If you don't do as I said, I will decimate your entire Azure Dragon Association. After saying that, she spread her arms and leaped into the air, drifting toward the rooftop before disappearing in the blink of an eye. Dead silence fell over the courtyard. Lu Jingfeng slumped to the ground as he wiped the sweat from his face and muttered under his breath, "Why didn't I know there is such a young expert in Anyang?" He found it strange when he glanced at the gang members lying on the ground around him. If it were any other gang who came to attack them, these gang members would have died by now. But the little girl only wounded them and gave him a task, which he found rather weird. The Lakeside Gang. Is there such a gang in Anyang? The more he thought about it, the stranger it seemed to him, and the more puzzled he became. Ding. You have completed the task of mobilizing the Azure Dragon Association and are rewarded with 200 merit points. Zhou had just finished a cup of tea, and he came to the center of the courtyard to have a walk. The CI family still looked the same. Ji Tiandao met little Yuaner when he came to Anyang for the first time, and that was when he wanted to take her as his disciple. However, he was rejected by her parents. Later, for some unknown reasons, her parents sent her to Golden Court Mountain by themselves. What enemies did the CI family have over the years? Zhou asked. Wang Fugui, who was standing respectfully nearby, bowed slightly and said, "The family never had any enemies. Not even 5 years ago." 5 years ago? Wang Fugui searched his memory. Then, as if he suddenly thought of something, he said, "Do you mean the Morong family? Tell me about this family." Zhou walked to a block of stone and sat down. 5 years ago, the Morong family and the CI family were like water and fire. At that time, both families had properties and businesses in the 3 major southern provinces of Great Yan. Master had focused all his efforts on his businesses, which made him a wealthy man. Later, the CI family and the Morong family became sworn enemies. In the world of Great Yan, cultivators should not meddle with secular affairs, but there are always people who would do anything for profits. Master and his lady were often assaulted by assassins. Was the Morong family behind the assassinations? Everyone knew that they did it, but we had no actual proof, so the authorities ignored the cases. Zhou understood now. It was to protect little Yuaner that the CI family had sent her to Ji Tiandao. Could the Morong family be responsible for this kidnapping as well? Zhou asked. Wang Fugui paused for a moment and said, "I dare not jump to conclusion. The cultivation base of a cultivator who can kidnap all the people in a family would not be lower than the 4 meridian stage of the Brahmasi realm. Are there any cultivators in the Morong family?" "Not on the surface. As for whether there is some hiding in the dark, I do not know." Zhou nodded. Right then, little Yuaner drifted over the roof and jumped into the courtyard. Zhou said in a slightly reproachful tone, "Why did you climb over the roof when there's a front door for you to use?" "Grandpa, if I take the front door, I would have to knock on it and wait for someone to open for me. Climbing over the roof is more convenient. Don't do this again." "Oh," little Yuaner replied, and she seemed a little unhappy. "Ding. You have disciplined little Yuaner and are rewarded with 100 merit points." "How are things going?" Zhou asked. "They are very obedient, and they said they will find the Lakeside Gang for us." Little Yuaner said excitedly, "Oh, did you beat them?" "No, that chief was very friendly. He said, 'My lady, I will certainly find this Lakeside Gang in 3 days.'" "Don't look at me like that. Grandpa, I swear I'm telling the truth. And those are his words." Little Yuana mumbled. Zhou knew she must have beaten him, but he did not plan to reproach her. He just wanted to see if she would tell him the truth. "Well, I'll have to teach them slowly. Rome is not built in 1 day." Just like that, 3 days passed in a twinkling. Zhou sat quietly in the courtyard, waiting for the results of the Azure Dragon Association's investigation. Wang Fugui poured him a cup of tea and asked gingerly, "Oh, mister, why is young Miss going to the Azure Dragon Association alone? I'm worried about her safety." Zhou glanced at him and said, "If I were you, I would be worried about the safety of the gang members." Ugh. Wang Fugui looked puzzled. He was not a cultivator. So even though he knew there were different levels of cultivators, he could not tell who was stronger. "Over the past few days, I've heard the news that the members of the Azure Dragon Association are looking for the Lakeside Gang everywhere. causing quite a stir in Anyang, said Wang Fugue. Lu Zhou smiled and did not say a word. He could understand Wang Fugue's worry. After all, the Azure Dragon Association was backed by the Nether Sect, the sect leader of which was Yuzheng Hai, an expert ranked second on the Black Roll. Just the name alone was enough to strike terror into one's heart. However, ding, an evil man is killed. You are rewarded with 10 merit points. Ding, an evil man is killed. You are rewarded with 10 merit points. Ding, an evil man is killed. You are rewarded with 10 merit points. Lu Zhou sighed. Little Yuaner lost her patience eventually. It was almost 1 hour when the system prompts finally stopped. He looked at the system panel. Name, Lu Zhou. Race, human. Cultivation base. The chi refining and soul forming stage of the sense condensing realm. Merit points, 1,254. Avatar, 3 condensing flowers. Remaining life, 4,505 days. Items, G Tiandao Peak Form Card X2, Critical Block Card, Passive, X3 Wizard. Cultivation Technique, 3 Scrolls of Heaven Writing. The merit points had accumulated to more than 1,000. Deducting the rewards from disciplining the disciples and the tasks they had completed, little Yuana had killed at least 50 evil men. Lu Zhou did not expect her to handle the matter properly as soon as she entered the world. After all, she was still young and had no discretion in doing things. Moreover, he had learned from Wang Fugue over the past few days that the Azure Dragon Association had done many evil deeds, and common people had been suffering under them. The authorities had turned a blind eye to them because they were backed by the Nether Sect, which turned them into a major scourge in Anyang. They deserved to be killed, and Lu Zhou did not pity them. Fugue, I want you to find out if there are any unusual activities in the Morong family recently. I'll go right now. Hold on. Is there anything else, oh mister? Bring this token. No one will dare to stop you if you show it to them. Go now. I understand. All the items Jitan Dao obtained through the system were gone, but the goodies he plundered when he held sway in the world remained, and this royal token was one of them. As for the rest, which were not convenient to be brought along, Lu Zhou left them in Evil Sky Pavilion. In the afternoon, Lu Zhou was resting with his eyes closed when Liu Yuaner jumped off the roof again and came in front of him as she greeted with a playful smile. Master. Lu Zhou frowned slightly and said, Kneel down. Plop. Little Yuaner dropped to her knees immediately, and the smile on her face disappeared. I was wrong, Master. I shouldn't have killed them. I don't blame you for that. I've told you that this is your home, and you have to come into the front door. Have you forgotten that? Or did you take my words as a mere gust of wind? 1 inch, I'm sorry, Master. I was in a rush, and I forgot about that. I promise I won't do it again. Liu Yuana bowed her head and said, if he forgave her every time she made a mistake, and said that she would not remember and become better. So Lu Zhou pointed to a block of stone beside them and said, lie face down. You have a pure nature, which is a good thing, but you can't be so wild and have no regard for rules. Since your parents are away, I'll teach you on their behalf. Little Yuaner obediently went to block of stone and lay down. Lu Zhou knew he could not relent at this moment. So he lifted a hand and produced a weak wave of energy, which he threw at her buttocks. Pack. It doesn't hurt at all. How dare you play tricks with me? Lu Zhou said angrily. Remove your protective energy. Have mercy, Master. I will not do it again. I promise. Little Yuaner pleaded. Remove it. Without the protective energy, little Yuaner was just an ordinary girl. It was not wrong to be free, but she could not act without rules. Lu Zhou could turn a blind eye when she was on a mountain, but if she still acted like that in Anyang, she might attract unwanted attention and spread the news of their presence here to the other villainous disciples. He must punish her appropriately and make her remember not to make mistakes again. Pack. It hurts, Master. The second stroke was a solid one. Although Lu Zhou was only in the sense-condensing realm, he could muster enough energy to hit an ordinary girl. Pack. Pack! He hit her 3 more times in a row. In his memory, little Yuana was the only disciple whom Ji Tiandao had never beaten before. The other disciples, from the eldest to the 8th, had been beaten and even seriously wounded by him since they were young. But he always saved their lives and healed them with medicines. After the punishment, little Yuana was full of grievances and almost burst into tears. In front of others, she was a formidable and terrible little devil. But when facing Lu Zhou, she was just a child who had not yet grown up. Since she was little, her parents were not with her, and her senior brothers and sisters could only give her so much love, which could not replace her parents. Master was the only person she could rely on. But now, her most respected master had beaten her. How could she not be filled with grievances? "You may get up," said Lu Zhou with hands clasped behind his back. "Master, it really hurts." "Good. I want you to feel that. I've told you to forget everything I taught you in the past, and remember what I tell you now." "I will, Master." Little Yuana pursed her lips. "Ding. You have sternly disciplined the 9th disciple, little Yuana. You are rewarded with 300 merit points." Lu Zhou was watching her loyalty when he punished her, and he found that it did not reduce. It meant that when the loyalty was over 80%, it would not reduce as long as he did not do something that disappointed the disciple and principal. Little Yuana was easy to educate, but the other 8 disciples... He shook his head. There was still a long way for him to go, he knew, although full of grievances. After little Yuana got to her feet, she pursed her lips and said, "The Azure Dragon Association said there was no Lakeside gang, and it was just a fake gang temporarily formed by a group of cultivators." "Temporarily formed?" "Yes. They lied, and even invited helpers from the E province to kill me. I was seized by anger, so I beat them." "Beat? Ugh, I killed them." Little Yuana corrected hurriedly. "They had invited some mighty experts. If I didn't fight back, I wouldn't be able to see you again, Master." "That's enough. Who dares to bully you if they are not divine court experts?" Lu Zhou reproached her in a faint voice. Little Yuana did not dare to speak again. Lu Zhou calculated the time. By right, Wang Fugui should have returned by now. Yet he did not. After considering for a moment, he said, "Wang Fugui has not returned. Come with me." "I understand." They left the CI family and walked along the street toward the Morong family.